Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een, amma ba'd. So, in the last videos, if you noticed, we were covering about that does God exist or not. And then we talked about that God only has to be one. There cannot be multiple gods, and if there is multiple gods, it doesn't make sense. And we talked about also some of the major monotheistic religion that is out there, about Christianity, Judaism, and also talked about are the books actually like valid in terms of can you get guidance from the books, and talked about lots of contradictions and lots of problems that are in the book that can guide us that the books are not to be taken in a way that people are, meaning that there are guidance but also there are contradictory speech, meaning you can be sure what is from God and what is not. Now I'm going to start talking about Islam, the last monotheistic religion that is in the list. When we talk about Islam, what happens is that many people, even Muslims that don't have much knowledge and just by name they're Muslims, many people think that Islam started from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Many people think that. But those who know, those who actually studied the book that is associated with Islam, Quran, they know that Islam, the beginning of Islam is not from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It actually started way before. We are talking about when God sent the first human being on this planet, who is Prophet Adam alayhi salam. And the thing is, many people might think that what I'm saying is very foreign, but no, it's not foreign. Because Islam, when you think about it, Islam, you have to understand what it means. Islam means to submit your will towards God. That is what Islam means. And if you think about Muslims, it literally means the one who is submitting their will towards God. Anyone who does that, they're Muslim. Simple definition. And Prophet Adam alayhi salam, the first human being on this planet, he submitted his will towards God. So in that way, in that definition, he is also a Muslim. And God sent later on, according to Islam, prophets after prophets and books after books to guide the human beings towards the true path, towards Him. And even if you look at the other books of the other monotheistic religion, Judaism and Christianity, their books talks about so many prophets, but they make a mistake that they claim that, for example, Judaism started from Abraham. What happened to Noah? What happened to Nuh alayhi salam? What happened to all those prophets that came before Prophet Abraham? What happened to them? You see, all those prophets that are before Abraham, all of them and after them, they all preached the same exact message, and that is about the oneness of God. And that is exactly what Islam is, that you will submit to the only one God, and that God we call Allah. And that is basically what Islam is. And according to Islam, there are many books that God sent. For example, the major books, one of the book was sent to Prophet Moses or Musa alayhi salam, and that book is called Tawrat, or the ways the Jews say Torah. And God also sent a book to Jesus Christ, Isa alayhi salam, and that book is called Injil, what people wants to say gospel. So the thing is, in Islam, we actually believe in all those prophets that came before us. before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he believes that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last and final messenger, and he got the last and final message from God, which is called the Quran. When it comes to the Christians and Jews, the difference that happens is that the Jews, they believe in all the prophets, except when it comes to Jesus. When it comes to Isa alayhi salam, they don't want to believe. They don't. And the Christian people, they believe in Isa alayhi salam, in Jesus, but they turned him into a god. They claim that he has divinity. And then when it comes to Islam, they don't want to believe in Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The history is happening the same way. Meaning, when a prophet comes, they reject that prophet and they believe in all the other prophets before that. Same way, when Isa alayhi salam came, the Jews rejected him. And for the Christians, they believed in Isa alayhi salam, Jesus, but when Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came, they rejected him. What is the reason? The reason is actually that people, they think of their book, they think of their messenger or prophet as absolute. They think that if I follow a different prophet, then I'm like belittling my prophet that came to me. But that is simply not the case. God simply sends messengers after messengers after messengers and books after books to guide the people. If you believe in one book and a new messenger comes with a different book, you are supposed to believe in that prophet. If you don't, then you are just disrespecting God. That is just exactly what it is. For example, what does it mean if you want to know? Suppose you live in a country. Suppose you live in a country. For example, I live in the United States. Now, I want to follow the rules and regulations that used to exist in the time of the father of this country, George Washington. And I want to follow those rules and regulations. And now the president comes and new rules and regulation happens. And I'm like, no, I don't believe in those rules. I'm not going to follow those rules. You tell me, do you think I'm a good citizen? Do you think I'm respecting the Constitution? Everyone will say that I'm not, even though I'm following the rules that used to be part of the same Constitution. But it's not going to happen. Why? Because new president came, new rules came. Same way, God deems sometimes that there should be a necessary change. The people have changed, the society have changed, so people need something else. Or people forgot about God, or the book was changed. The book was changed by the people, it's not preserved. Then God sends a new messenger. That is why you see in the history, look at the Bible, look at the Quran, same thing. It talks about various messengers that God sent to various people so that they come to God. That is the history of Islam. And now, you might be shocked that I'm talking about the books are changed. Yes, the books are changed. What is the proof? I have talked about it in my previous videos about all those contradictions, all those problems that exist in the Bible, both Old and New Testament. And that should tell you that yes, people did tweak here and there in those books. If that was not the case, why is there contradictions in those books? If the book comes from God, there should not be any contradiction. And that is exactly the case for Islam. If you look at the Quran does not have any contradiction. If you look at the Quran, the book that the Muslims believe in as the final book, that no book will be sent afterwards, this book you will not find a single clear contradiction in there. And second thing is that if you look at that book, the Quran, it is preserved so nicely, so amazingly it is preserved. You will find, it doesn't matter what religion you are from, you can be Hindu, you can be Buddhist, you can be Christian, you can be Jew, you will find next to you, close to you, in your proximity, a person there is that memorized the whole Quran. Now try to find someone who memorized the whole Bible. you probably never even heard of it. And even if you do, it is gonna be like so rare. The reason is that that book is not preserved that well. Sometimes, like even if you look at the Christians, you're gonna see that they're divided into major parts, Catholic and Protestants. And do you know that Catholics have more books in their Bible than the Protestants? They literally have a different book. They have multiple different books, extra books that the Protestants don't have in their Bible. It is different. If you look at a Bible version from, for example, King James Version, the Bible that is very famous, and then you look at a Revised Standard Version, you're gonna see that many of the verses like cut off. They form a council and they claim that some verses, they're just apocrypha, they're just forged. But that is not the case for the Quran. It was preserved in the time of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. While he was still there, he instructed his followers to write down what was being revealed to him. And then those, after it is being written down in the time of the first caliph, right after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam died, in the 2 years of the first caliph, he basically like compiled the whole Quran down. And then the other caliphs in the time of Uthman radiyallahu an, he basically compiled and copied the whole Quran and sent it to major parts of the Muslim world. And the Quran is preserved perfectly. Even if you look at the ancient manuscripts of the Quran, like you can find a Quran manuscripts in the Library of Birmingham, in literally not even a Muslim country, and they checked it, and the time that it gives, when you check like how old the Quran is, it literally goes back to the time of when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was still alive. That is how accurate the Quran is. The Quran, when we teach, it is literally from the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is taught literally even how you will pronounce the Quran. You cannot find a single mistake in the Quran. That is how preserved our book is. So the thing is, I'm saying all these things, but a person who came knowing that, like I understand God exists and everything, I understand Christianity has a lot of problems in it, but how am I going to know that Islam is not the same? Maybe Quran has mistakes. Maybe what I'm saying, the Quran doesn't have any contradiction. Maybe I'm just making it up. But no, I will actually prove it, so that anyone who has doubts about Islam, anyone who has problems that like Quran might have some problems, or this ayah might have some misunderstanding or something, everything will be cleared up. May God guide us